Okay, so this should be the last set of new concepts for this week, and I'm going to talk to the other Algebra 2 teachers about how the rest of this chapter is going to go. This is the last chapter of the year, so if you're struggling on anything, it should be at a pace that if you're stuck, you can ask questions and understand your mistakes before any quiz or test happens. So please make sure if last week was tricky for you and the video still had some confusing parts, just let me know. Okay, so as almost always in mathematics, we aren't just going to teach you something that's brand new. It usually is a concept that builds off of a concept you've done before. So the first example should look familiar. These are two binomials. That means there's two terms each, so 3x minus 2 is one binomial, 4x plus 1 is the other binomial. You may have learned to multiply these using the distributive property. You could have heard the word FOIL, which means multiply the first term, the outer term, the inner term, and the last term. If you want to see an example, you can look up the FOIL method. It's nothing I like to say a lot because it's not a method, it's just a distributive property. It just makes sure you don't forget anybody. But that's why I like to use this, because it's not just for binomials. It's that idea of I'm going to make myself a little box so that I am able to find the areas of each little piece and then add them up, and it will make sure that I don't forget anybody. Okay, so this first one, so notice I'm multiplying 3x times 4x. This should look all very familiar. 12x squared, 4 times 3 is 12, x times x is x squared, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and then there's just an x. 3 times 1 is 3, and an x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And then I'm going to take all the elements in here and add them all up. So 12x minus 8x plus 3x minus 2. And then there's some like terms right there. So those are the only ones I can add up. And my final answer is right here. Okay, so we're going to do the other problem. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if the screen is jumping in and out, but hopefully it's not. So this is now the same idea. There's still two binomials. It's just that the binomials are going to include radicals. So we've got to be careful about this. So 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times negative the square root of 2 is 4, so that negative goes out front, so negative 4 root 2. And it's because 2 and negative root 2 and 4, one's under the radical and one's not. So we just have to be careful with that. You can only multiply things if they're both under the radical or both in front of the radical. So this one's out front. We don't have a radical to worry about. And this one's under one. So it's almost like you're gluing them together. And then the 3 in root 5, if you think about how this one works, would be, yep, 3 root 5. Okay, and then here they're both under the square root. So these actually you do multiply together. So root 5 times negative root 2 is going to be negative the square root of 10. Negative square root of 10. Okay, so now we'll go to combine like terms. And again, something's up with the video. It keeps like going to, I'm sure, a screen behind this and back and forth. So what I'm going to do is out loud say the answer. Maybe you can try to do the answer as well. Think if there's any like terms, and then I'll show the final answer when I'm done writing. Okay, so I'm just adding up what's inside the squares, everything in green. So 12 minus 4 root 2 plus 3 root 5 plus, minus the square root of 10. And if you look, And again, I'll get the screen back. If you look at everything, sorry, there's a negative root 10 over here. If you look at everything, 12, there's no other whole number. They're all radicals. This has a root 2. No other one just has a root 2 under it, even the negative root 10. There's no other one that has a root 5 under it. Actually, none of these are like terms. I know that the root 10 is broken down into 5 and 2, but remember, you can only take out a pair if it's under a square root. And there's no pairs when you break down the square root of 10. There's a 5 and a 2. So actually, this is the final answer. I'm going to rewrite it, though, since this got cut off. And again, if it keeps jumping, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'll try to fix it before the next video. 12 minus 4 root 2 plus 3 root 5 minus root 10. Yep, so here's your final answer right here. Okay? Hopefully this helps. I'm going to do one more video to help with a